Um,
Well, one thing I'll say right now is we'll talk
all
about
right,
Bruce.
so yeah, we should be live now.
Okay. Um, Before we even start, I think you should talk about the issue of luck. You know how luck works and doesn't work sometimes. I mean, you have to have weather luck and health luck and referee luck and injury, all the different types of luck it's going to take. Like 7 more games, or even potentially 14 games for Anthony Davis to stay healthy along with LeBron. We'll see. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's
don't
I
wish that
mean, for
on.
me, like everything we're getting ready to talk about all hinges on like somebody could roll their ankle, one of the,
Well,
AD and it's over, LeBron it's over,
he's
Joker
made of
it's
glass.
over.
Anthony Davis is made of glass, and I'm not calling him a sissy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's not durable. And what's the number one ability? Availability, right?
Well,
And
yeah, yeah,
doesn't
you're
matter why
not
you're
you're not
available.
too you don't bring a lot of value sitting on the sideline in your designer suits and stuff.
No,
So, hey man, let's get into this Western Conference Finals. We've been wanting to get on here quite a while, talk a little bit. A couple old heads, they'd probably call us. So, but man, I think this. I kind of like the Lakers got through the way they've got through because they got through an old head way.
yeah,
You know Darvin a little bit. Have a little bit of history with them. Aren't you excited to kind of see how they're playing?
yeah, I really am because Darvin's very, very old school. I mean, I don't know people who don't know his background. He grew up in Saginaw, Michigan. They call it Saginaw. It's a tough place, which is where Draymond Green's from. It was the same high school as Draymond, right? And it's real, real gritty. And he grew up playing really gritty basketball. And he just did. I just do something to lose you? You just disappeared, Mike. Whoops.
You're on. You're on.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. So anyway, Darvin played for Gerald Meyer at Texas Tech, along with Baron Brown, and he's an old school guy. In fact, the funny story about Gerald Myers was he wasn't a particularly good coach, and he told Darvin one time, he said, "Well, maybe you got a chance to be the tight end one day in the NFL. You got a chance to be the tight end in the NFL one day." He kind of basically told him to have sex with himself, and no, no, I'm going to go play
Yeah.
basketball.
Uh,
Well, yeah,
yeah, man. I love since the trades and the roster they put together. I love how he's using them. They get to the paint, something I know we both respect. Starting the game in the paint at the rim. So yeah, let's get into talking about the Lakers Nuggets series. I personally think it's probably going to go 7. We'll talk about that a little bit. We were talking earlier. They did split. They went 2-2 versus each other this year in the
right.
regular season, but none of those games were with this new lineup.
Was one
So
of the wins. They beat Denver twice with the bad lineup. Then they got the good lineup and didn't beat Denver because they're still trying to get it together. It's funny. I would love to sit down with Darvin, get about 3 cocktails in him, and ask him what he thinks about Rob Pelinka's ability to put together a roster. Because you got Pat Riley down there with the Aronson boys and whoever their GM down there is, and they've got a 17-man roster with 9 undrafted free agents on it. Who's doing more with less? Who's doing more with less than that? Right?
yeah, yeah,
And some people do less with more, and some people do more with less. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think with Blanket keeping his job, I mean, you're the one who put that crap lineup your roster together. Now you corrected it, and that's good. I'm glad you corrected it. But can you imagine what LA might have been if they had that roster the whole year?
yeah, definitely. Probably a top two. Yeah, they're two to four, 2 to 5 seed probably.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the thing that really fascinates me about this Denver thing is okay, there's the old line that when you get to the playoffs, especially the Final Four, that your stars tend to neutralize each other because you got to have 2 of them at least, right? They kind of wash each other most times. And then sometimes your third is better than their third, but really it's the role players. The old adage in the NBA playoffs is the role players play better at home. So you're going to
Yeah,
expect Michael Porter Jr., you're going to expect Aaron Gordon and those type of guys, Contavious Pope, Caldwell Pope will play better today, and then ultimately, I guess it'd be Thursday night,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But yeah, somebody's got to play well on the road, and playoffs haven't started until somebody loses at home, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why nobody should really celebrate if Denver wins the first 2 games because they're supposed to win the first 2 games. But let's go matchup. Anthony Davis is extremely long, of course. Jokic is extremely sneaky and shifty, and it's going to be really hard to guard him. I think Jokic is more athletic than people give him credit for. I mean, I'm not talking jumping, but he's not Joel Embiid slacker out of shape type of stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think the biggest difference is Jamal Murray. He was hurt last year. He's really good, man. And I was looking
Yeah.
at the numbers. Check these 3-point numbers out for 3-point percentage. All right, so Jokic shoots 38.3. Jamal Murray shoots 40. Michael Porter Jr. shoots 42%. Aaron Gordon shoots 35. Contavious Caldwell Pope shoots 42.3. Pretty good 3-point shooting. And
Yeah,
you got 5 guys averaging double figures, and I think that's pretty impressive. But with Jokic, you and I game played a lot of games for years and years and years. You're going to play. I'm playing Kimball. How am I going to guard AC Law? We're playing South Oak Cliff. How do I guard Shady? Whatever, right? And you got to make a decision. I'm going to, not let him do what he wants to do, right? So Jokic, people are. He's such a great passer now that his first choice is to pass. You cannot double team him, because if you double team him, you're all but concede the basket.
Yeah, he's a tough guard. I'm going to start guarding him 94 feet from the basket.
Helping him.
And I am going to see what kind of shape he's in. But, yeah, I'm going to start guarding him early. We'll see.
Contact. But the thing about it, does that favor Anthony Davis? Because, he's not in particularly great shape, and he's not the most physical dude in the world. And then you go to the next guy, but, I don't know. I like the idea of wearing him down and pissing him off,
Yeah.
So –
well, you could always, I think you could always bounce different guys off of him in that full court with AD, end up picking him up at the top of the key. But, ultimately I say 94 feet, but I think anything, just past half court, I think you got to start putting some type of body on him. I'm going to be anxious to see if AD can guard him in everywhere he can play with his footwork, and because I personally think AD's got good footwork and stuff too for a big, but that's a big ask to guard him.
A little 2-man action, Jamal Murray and Jokic, where almost always Jokic gets the ball off the ball screen, and Murray either sets it up with a basket cut if they overplay it, or he gets 3 and steps in behind. It's kind of like going under a ball screen action. It's really, really tough to guard. And the thing about it is you got to guard Jokic because he'll shoot the 3. Now, does Jokic have to come out and guard Anthony Davis as much on the 3? I don't think so.
No.
And the bumping him off the spot. I'm probably hyperbolizing here a little bit. I'm stereotyping, but do you really think you're going to scare a Serbian dude with physical contact? This guy played with bullets being shot behind the basket and shot. I've seen pictures, or I've seen documentaries of these Serbian kids, and they would play basketball. They hear an air raid, shut the gym down or shut the court down. Air raid goes back to come, and there's bullet holes all over the wall. When we talk about this metaphor, basketball is war. That ain't war. Serbia is war. There's nothing you do to him.
Yeah, yeah. What do you do to teach a Serbian kid adversity? Like
being born,
I've already mastered it, right?
Being born pretty much covers it. Right?
Let's jump over real quick to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to get started tomorrow. Give me what your thoughts on that one.
All right, I think you got to favor Boston, of course, but I like the idea that Jimmy Buckets has got more heart than anybody in the NBA. I'm not a fanboy of anyone. Everyone knows I got a background with Joe and Jimmy and all this stuff, and that's nothing to do with it. He plays like a monster. If you could take whatever runs through his body and runs through Marcus Smart's body and put it into people like Joel Embiid and James Harden and Kyrie Irving and all these clowns or Julius Randle, who barely has a pulse, right? I would just love to see what would happen. But as far as that goes, when you take Victor Oladipo out, he's 10.7 points a game. You take out Tyler Hero, he's over 20. So you're talking 30-point differential, 2 primary parts. So it's absolutely critical. Jimmy Butler's got to be the go-to guy. We should know that, okay? But Bam Adebayo's got to be a rock-solid second option, because then that allows the Lowrys and the Duncan Robinsons and those guys. It doesn't matter who picks up the slack. You can take 2 of any of those other 5 dudes, as long as you got Bam Adebayo going for, let's say, 18 and 8, something in there. He's got to go for those kind of numbers. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think Bam has to show up extra big because to make up for the loss of the other 2 guys.
Exactly. The luxury with them would be he could be the 3rd or 4th option if all those guys were healthy. Right.
Yeah.
Now. And what I also like about Miami, they get their threes the right way. They get them inside out. They get them with ball movement. They don't get them with this dribble weave crap. And I'm so glad we're not cursing right now, because I just want to curse the whole concept of taking a 6'8" post and tell him to turn his 6'10" or 7-footer and tell him to turn his back to the basket and hand off the ball to people taking bad threes. Don't call me an old guy, grumpy old dude, whatever. I'm sorry. I don't think it's
Yeah.
crazy. So,
Well, I mean, I think getting back to the Western Conference Finals, I think that has a big part to do if the Lakers win or if Denver wins. I think if Denver falls into that handing off to Jamal Murray for threes and all of that, I think that goes into the Lakers' hands because I think they're going to be playing the bully ball, much like we think Miami's going to do. And I hate to call it bully ball because to us it's just good basketball. But once again, starting everything in the paint, getting threes a different way from the paint out, not off of dribble handoffs and those things.
and when you were coaching, you set your gun machine up, shooting machine, right? Did you set it up under the basket or did you set it up on the top?
Well, because the way the technology worked, it is set up directly under the basket.
Which means you're getting a catch, step, shoot three, which are the easiest threes in the world. You don't
Which is also the position that almost everybody's shooting coach is standing or their rebounder is standing and throwing it back out to them from.
do step back threes. I just texted Matt. Matt's at the NBA Combine right now, Riccardi, and I was asking him. I hadn't got a text back yet. Let me see if I did. I was asking him about what's your thoughts on Zach Edey because I'm really big on Zach Edey. I know he's not a great player, but he's 88 inches tall. My God, I mean, doesn't that provide some rim protection for teams who can't block anything? Doesn't that provide some sort of inside-out option? And you can always play him in the NBA. You can play three across the top on a matchup zone, switching everything, and play two underneath, right? And you can play Edey from the basket to one corner. You can play the other big from the basket to the other corner, right? You don't have to. He doesn't have to give you primary minutes, but I'd be willing to bet he goes undrafted.
Most likely because there doesn't need to. A rim protector is not valued until now. A rim protector is valued now in these last Final Four, and I think the people that have the best rim protectors are going to be at the end. And that's my prediction is Bam Adebayo is going to protect the rim the best for Miami, and I think that AD going uninjured. This is like we started the whole thing off with. Everything revolves around luck and injuries. So for me, if AD stays healthy and can protect the rim throughout this series, they'll be in the finals. And if Bam can protect the rim, go uninjured in that series, I think Miami gets through. That's my predictions.
One of my philosophies, though, that we hadn't really talked about. Remember a guy named Glendon Alexander?
I do remember Glendon.
Glendon Alexander averaged 30 points a game for 4 years. And Glendon was always going to get his 30 to 50 points every single night. We beat him every single night. All right. It was just never really mattered to Glendon all that much about winning. And at the end of the day, when you take a look that brain fart. What were we just talking about? I'm sorry. It was, making him play defense. One of our philosophies, okay, it's his 40. I'll make him play on the other end. Make him at least score 40 tired.
Yeah.
Like I would make Jokic guard. I would make whoever Jokic is guarding, pinning him in the post. And I'm trying he'd be in pick and roll every single time. I love the Lakers the stagger pick they set up top. They run horns up top.
Well, it's more it's more of a stagger where the ball handler's going in that one direction off of two guys. One guy rolls, one guy picks.
Well, so they're running high low because Darvin Ham is old school. Darvin Ham runs high low.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a lot of that because I think they're going to put Joker in a ton of that. I
think he's as vulnerable at the basket as he is out. The common assumption is you put him in a lot of pick and rolls because he's got slow feet because he's a white guy, he's from Serbia, and he won't be able to guard anyone. Well, he can stand in front of a guy and raise his hand up and block and challenge a three. That's easy. But if you put him on a deep pin, make it so that when you run that stagger, that the dive guy is always whoever Jokic is guarding. Jokic always has to guard the rim guy. Now throw that ball in there.
Yeah, make him guard it.
Here's one. How much do people underestimate the value of getting yourself into the bonus, which is a skill and an art?
They don't care. They literally don't care about getting to the free throw line anymore.
I do. You know why? Because when you pull one of these 4 for 32 or 4 for 43 3-point nights when you're supposed to stop shooting them because you ain't making any, the way you get out of that funk is you get to the rim, you get to a free throw, you get a layup, you extend your pressure up. And I know I'm starting to sound like an old school guy who doesn't buy into money ball, but I don't buy into money ball.
No, I don't either. I don't
buy into dribble weave BS. I think it's all crap. And if you get your team today, somebody's posting up. Like you. How tall are you, Mike? 5'7", 5'8"?
I'm about 5'6", 5'7".
So
But if I'm your biggest guy, I know I'm your post.
Yeah.
I know this.
If you're being guarded by 5'5", your ass is going inside, Mike. Sorry, someone's got to do it.
Exactly.
I was told to do that his senior year because we didn't have any post presence. Well, when you're 6 foot tall with 205 pounds and you have no body fat, you are our post presence.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea that we're always asking to people. You know, like I would love to get stuff, talk about Doc Rivers getting fired. I want to see who's going to come and hard coach Embiid. And I'd really like to see, will the management and the ownership of that franchise let them? Tell them, get your fat ass in shape. For once in your career, get your fat ass in shape because he's never been in shape.
No. We were talking earlier. I think his late game fall offs in the fourth quarter is not defensive adjustments or anything like that. It's just the fact he's too damn tired to get to his spot in the fourth quarter. So, well, hey man, we'll probably jump back on tomorrow.
All right, predictions tonight. Let's hey, predictions, game straight up and point spreads just for fun. Okay, let me get the numbers real quick. All right, so tonight is Denver. I think is 6.5 point favorite. Let's look at it real quick. All right, so Denver is minus 6.5. I'm going to say Nuggets win and don't cover. What do you think?
I say that Darvin has the Lakers ready to steal a game tonight because tonight's the night to steal one. Old school dudes know this, and Darvin is so old school. I think they're going to try to pound it down their throat in the paint tonight and steal this game because, like you said, the playoffs don't start till you lose a game at home, and I think he'll get it started quick.
Well, number one, if you lose at home, the first game is the one that you can most afford to lose. You got the most recovery time, right? So it's not critical. But boy, it flips the whole series. Because I always tell people, you fight for 82 games to get the home court advantage, and you lose it in a night. And often that night, when you lose the home court advantage, it's 2 or 3 crappy minutes.
Yeah.
So,
what's your prediction?
You got LA straight up, huh?
I got LA straight up winning tonight.
Guys, so the word of the street is take LA on the money line. T.I., sign it off.
All right, man.
Thanks, man. I enjoyed it.
We'll talk at you tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a good night, folks.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy it again.